It seems like Jennifer Lopez may have been more involved with Diddy than we ever realized. New information has come to light suggesting that she was deeply entangled in Diddy's notorious freak-offs for a lot longer than anyone expected. For years, we thought J-Lo's connection to Diddy was just that brief 1995 club incident where Shine ended up taking the fall. However, it's alleged that she remained caught up in Diddy's drama long after they broke up. Here's where things get interesting. Rumor has it that Ben Affleck was aware of this and that may have been the real reason he ended things with J-Lo before things got too messy. But what exactly did Ben know about her activities, and was Diddy really using blackmail tactics on J-Lo with footage involving her and some young men? Let's break it down. If anyone has a history with Diddy, it's definitely J-Lo. Despite her efforts to downplay it and make it seem like their relationship was nothing serious, they were the power couple in the late 90s. There's always been buzz about how J-Lo was Diddy's ride or die and how she knew more about his shady dealings than she ever let on. But for some reason, the full details of her time with Diddy have remained under wraps. Sure, we knew they dated, but the streets have been talking for years that there's much more to the story, especially surrounding that infamous 1999 incident. J-Lo has always portrayed herself as innocent, claiming she was just caught up in the moment with Diddy and had no idea what he was involved in. However, the real story behind that club night tells a very different tale of J-Lo's involvement. Diddy and J-Lo were in a club in Times Square celebrating the upcoming release of Shine's album. Shine was Diddy's 21-year-old protege just starting to make a name for himself, much like J-Lo was at the time. They were leaving. Diddy, who was holding his champagne bottle, accidentally bumped into a guy named Matthew Allen, aka Scar, in the street. Scar wasn't feeling it and shoved Diddy, and from there things escalated real quickly. Then one of Scar's boys throws a stack of cash in Diddy's face. Diddy reportedly felt insulted by something that went down, and just like that, things escalated quickly. Shots rang out and the chaos left 3 people injured, including Natana, who was allegedly shot in the face by Diddy. Meanwhile, Diddy and J-Lo didn't stick around to deal with the fallout. As soon as the shooting started, they made a hasty escape, jumping into a Lincoln Navigator with a stash in the back. But here's the crazy part: they didn't get caught for the shooting right away. They were pulled over after running a red light while trying to make their getaway. At the station, both had to take mugshots, and reports say J-Lo was a complete wreck, crying uncontrollably. At one point, they even had to handcuff her to a pole. That's when her mom showed up, reportedly yelling at her in Spanish, "I told you to stay away from him." Even her mother could see that Diddy was nothing but trouble and that he would end up being a bad influence on J-Lo, and honestly, she wasn't wrong. To make things even more shocking, J-Lo allegedly let Diddy and his legal team use her name to help him avoid serious charges from the entire incident. One of Diddy's lawyers is said to have even told the judge that J-Lo had been a victim too, helping Diddy wiggle his way out of the mess. I don't know if you know this, Judge, but this person, Jennifer Lopez, is a very famous actress. To think Mr. Combs is walking around with her with a loading, it's so ridiculous that it stretches the imagination. Somehow, that defense actually worked, and Diddy walked away without facing any charges. However, J-Lo's involvement in the whole shooting situation apparently went way deeper than just letting him use her name. In Lil Rod's lawsuit, he claimed that Diddy confessed that J-Lo was the one who smuggled the weapon into the club in the first place. And to make matters worse, she allegedly handed Diddy the gun when things went south with Scar and even told him to start firing. Wait, what? According to the lawsuit, this is what went down, adding a whole new level of drama to the situation. He revealed that the artist and Mr. Coles' girlfriend at the time, Jennifer Lopez aka J-Lo, brought the into the club for him and handed it over after he got into an altercation. Yeah, it's clear J-Lo was all in with Diddy even when things weren't looking good. She even admitted in an interview that, despite Diddy's infidelity while they were together, she was still completely head over heels for him and would have done anything for him. He really had her wrapped around his finger, no question. She straight up said it herself. "It was the first time I was with someone who wasn't faithful. I was in a relationship with Puff where I was totally crying crazy and going nuts. It really took my whole life into a tailspin." Word on the street is that J-Lo was wild enough to do whatever Diddy asked, including allegedly taking part in those freak-offs. Even after they broke up, it seems she kept getting caught up with him behind the scenes. There's a blind item circulating that claims 50 Cent has said J-Lo, even while married to other men, was still reportedly seeing Diddy. And when he started getting into those freak-offs, J-Lo was supposedly right there with him, getting involved in all the mess. But before we dive into that blind item, let's talk about how the feds may have hinted at this in their indictment against Diddy. The document mentioned, the defendant engaged in a persistent and pervasive pattern toward women and other individuals. This was at times verbal, emotional, physical, and as part of his pattern of Combs manipulated women to participate in highly orchestrated performances of activity with male commercial workers at times. Combs and others acting at his direction made arrangements for women and commercial workers to fly to Combs' location. Combs ensured participation from the women by, among other things, obtaining and distributing narcotics to them, controlling their careers, leveraging his financial support, and threatening to cut off the same, and using intimidation. And it also said the defendant used the Combs business, including certain employees, to carry out, facilitate, and cover up his and commercial. Those employees included security staff, household staff, personal assistants, and high-ranking supervisors and other close associates acted as Combs intermediaries, and their conduct was facilitated and assisted by Combs' control of the Combs business. The feds also disclosed that they've been monitoring Diddy's so-called freak-off parties for years and that several high-profile celebrities have been involved. According to the documents, Combs and other members and associates of the Combs enterprise wielded the power and prestige of Combs' role at the Combs business to intimidate, threaten, and lure female victims into Combs' orbit, often under the pretense of a romantic relationship. Combs then used force, threat to force, and coercion to cause victims to engage in extended acts with male commercial workers that Combs referred to as, among other things, freak-offs. Alright, now let's get into the blind item. Word on the street is that 50 Cent claimed that J-Lo was not only present at those freak-offs but was also actively involved in the party. And hold on, he also claimed, CL, that some of her freak-off partners weren't always of legal age, if you know what I mean. An insider shared that 50 isn't just aware of this, he even gave that information to the feds and turned over video footage of J-Lo at the freak-offs with those young boys. Child, one thing about 50, he's going to keep hating on Diddy forever, and this time is no exception, but now he's taking it a step further than just throwing shade on social media, handing that footage over to the Fits is bound to get Diddy and J-Lo into even deeper trouble. Child, when that documentary of his finally comes out, it's going to be a whole mess. The blind item said 50 Cent is reportedly given wires to the Hollywood friends that the FBI have KN tapes of Jennifer Lopez having intercourse with underage girls and boys at the P. Diddy freak-off parties, and Lopez was caught in several not tapes that were seized by the FBI in the P. Diddy house's raids. That's the reason Ben Affleck and Lopez are getting divorced, as the FBI informed Affleck of the videos and future indictments coming. Looks like this might be the real reason Ben Affleck ended things, because honestly, who wants to get caught up in all this mess? Definitely not Ben. Fans had a lot to say about it. J-Lo dated Diddy as she knew Kim Porter was still in a relationship with him. She sold herself to Diddy for fame, and now she played a victim of Diddy's shame on J-Lo. Another person said, of course J-Lo was involved. She was with Diddy to get her career going, and it worked. Now she is such a narcissist. She knew what Diddy was like. People who want to become a big star will do anything to become one. Her ticket was Diddy. Now she's paying the price for dealing with evil. She shouldn't care. She got what she wanted, fame and fortune. But hey, let me know what you think about all this, and don't forget to check out the next video.